Hey guys, this is Night Flame, and today, guys, I'm going to give you a comic book haul slash reviews. This is gonna be non-spoilers, so because it's the comic book haul, and also I want to do this together because I read all the books, and I can give you my opinion without spoiling anything on this book. Um, Wait one second, guys. I just noticed something. But yeah, this is a new format I'm gonna do. It's gonna be called comic book haul slash review, and I think I'm gonna start from episode number 1 again. But yeah, we'll see. Um, so definitely, I like doing this. I really like doing comic book hauls, and since they're non-spoiler, people can enjoy it without me telling you what the plot is, and they can pick it up and they could support the book. So yeah, guys, let's start off with my worst pick of the week this week, and it was let me focus it. The Flash, issue number 35. Yeah, The Flash to me started off great. It had a really good premise. It was like, yeah. Sorry, let me move this. It was like a good premise. It was like, the Future Flash wants to come back, and it was really cool seeing the Future Flash battle Grodd and battle a bunch of, future villains. But then he started coming back to the past. I could have easily, like, this story arc could have easily been done in this issue. They could have easily finished it. Last issue what I thought was the climax because Wally West got involved. But in this issue, Wally, something happens to Wally, and it doesn't finish his storyline. I'm not gonna spoil it or anything. It doesn't finish his storyline. I mean, if you read the Futures End issue of the Flash, that Wally West became the Flash and he was gonna travel back. So he's in this issue. Something happens to Wally. I'm not gonna spoil anything. But, this doesn't end the storyline with the Future Flash. He's still going to be there, which is kind of annoying. I really, wanted this storyline to be over. I really wanted Flash to focus more on his other, enemies. But yeah, it's not over, and there's no sign of it that's going to be over. The new storyline kind of doesn't interest me, so I'm going to drop the Flash until, this whole storyline finishes, or until, I start gaining interest in it. I gave this issue a 6.5. I do love the art though by Breath Booth. The art is really good, but the story for me, I think it's kind of like really stretching. It's gonna stretch too thin, if this keeps going. And by the solicitations of January, the Future Flash is still in it. So yeah, it's gonna be like what, almost like a half year to tell this whole story arc. So yeah, count me out, dropping the Flash. Sorry, I accidentally dropped a water bottle. Okay, so yeah. Next, I think it's my number 9. So my number 8 is Axis, issue number 3. This issue wasn't bad. It wasn't... I actually enjoyed it better than I enjoyed the first two. I think I liked it was, between 2 and 1. And 2 and this. Because I thought 1 was just not a good issue. In this issue, though, we have a different artist. And, I think the book doesn't suffer from it. I think that artist does good when it, I think it's a he. He draws from far away, but when he, kind of does facial expressions, it's kind of sketchy. I want to show you a page. Like, I thought he did a really good job drawing the Hobgoblin, but when it comes to, like, facial expressions, I think the inking is too hard. Or, I'm going to show you a little, like, one page just with a facial expression. Yeah, like this. Look, with a facial expression, I just think it's too sketchy. So I thought the art was, I think, better. I think it was better. The story for me, I think it got better as well. I really like the way Remender, characterized these villains. I like the whole dialogue between, there's a dialogue between both Loki and Doctor Doom, and that's gonna be really fun. Deadpool's in this issue, and he's really in character, and I thought it was, really well done. But the people who aren't in character are the X-Men and the Avengers, in my opinion. The whole Uncanny Avengers was just, it had a weird ending, in my opinion. It was just like, what is happening? Why are they worrying about this? And the ending, to me, they could have done something crazy, but this ending, I thought it was expected. I really didn't even care less for what happened in the ending. And hopefully Act 2 is way better than Act 1, because Act 1 ended in a really weak note. The whole Act 1 was really weak. You would expect a lot from something that's been heavily promoted. But, honestly, I expect, I know Rick Remender, and he's gonna improve in Act 2 and 3. I really hope he is, and something tells me that he is. So I gave this issue of Axis a 7 out of 10, and I think Flash a 6.5. So yeah, next is The Walking Dead, issue number 133. This is a little lower than it's usually than what it usually is in my whole little countdown I do in my head sometimes because I don't post the videos. But yeah, this issue actually features it's kind of like catching up. Honestly, it doesn't advance anything with the new villains that they introduced, and we haven't seen a lot of Magna, that big character that was introduced in like issue 127. Yeah, we don't see a lot of her. Now that I notice, she like pops up in like what, 2 panels every issue. But other than that, I really don't mind because we have a good supporting cast, and that's something good that you need to see in a book. Like in I'm gonna compare it to Feature's End. Feature's End, they change panels as well, like every like what, 3 pages. But you still, it's not a good supporting cast. They're not, they're not interesting characters. While in The Walking Dead, they're really interesting. So I thought this issue was good. I like the developments that we're getting between Carl and his teenage years, and I like everything that we're getting from The Walking Dead. I think this was kind of more of a filler, not a filler, but kind of a slow progressing issue. But I think next issue the action's gonna start. So I gave this issue of Walking Dead, of The Walking Dead 133. I gave it, I think I'd give it an 8 out of 10. So next we go to number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, number 6. And number 6 is Deathstroke, issue number 1. Honestly, this was my most anticipated issue of the week. You know what? I want to say I didn't have problems with this issue. I honestly, when I first read it, I understood the character. I thought the character was really well written. You see all his motivations. You see everything. You get to introduce. They introduced a supporting cast, but to me the supporting cast was kind of weak because you really didn't know a lot about them except their names and like some characteristics. They were really flat. But other than that, we see Slade, and this issue basically sets up for the whole series. There's a whole game changer at the end in the last issue. The last page, which I'm not gonna show, but there's a game changer. But I thought this whole issue was just kind of set up for the whole thing that's gonna come, and I thought it was still good. It kind of like sets up the mood and everything. And at first when I read it, I was like, "Yo, this is really bloody." But then I remember this is Deathstroke. This is an assassin. He is born to kill. So I really didn't mind afterwards because the art is incredible. So I thought this issue was enjoyable. The whole storyline at first seems too simple, but we're gonna see how it advances. So that's why it wasn't my pick of the week. It wasn't anything crazy that we got from this issue, but it was something enjoyable, and I think it's way better than that other run we had on Deathstroke. So yeah, I enjoyed this issue and I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. I think you guys should pick it up. It depends on taste though. This obviously isn't Deadpool of the DC universe. I will have to say the Deadpool of the DC universe is coming up after this, but this is I must say something like Deathlock that's coming out from Marvel. So yeah, this one though is, I think in my opinion, better. So yeah, Deathstroke issue number 1, 8.5. Definitely suggest you guys pick it up. Next, we go to number 5, and number 5 is Harley Quinn issue number 11. I honestly wasn't supposed to pick up this issue. I remember last issue how I reviewed it. I reviewed the issue and I thought, now that I read it, I think I reviewed it too harsh. Harley Quinn is supposed to be a fun series. Obviously that issue was crazy, but that's what we're supposed to get from Harley Quinn. So I think I reviewed the Features End issue too harsh. In this issue though, we see Power Girl and Harley Quinn kind of do a superhero team up, and it's really interesting, their interactions, everything. The costume even gets referenced, the Power Girl costume. So yeah, a lot of fun things, and you would expect this because Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Conner, I think they both worked on a Power Girl run or something. But yeah, I thought this was enjoyable. Obviously I don't think this was in this one, this isn't a like thing that Power Girl is gonna remember in Earth 2. She's not gonna be like, oh yeah, I teamed up with Harley Quinn at one point. So it's gonna be really interesting to see what happens. So I thought the cliffhanger to me could have, I could expect it a little bit more, but for what it was a fun issue, a lot of fun things. This one is really for teens. It has a lot of funny jokes, but I think not kids will understand it, but teens. So I think, teens and adults. So I think, this one is obviously a good series, but it wasn't something crazy that happened at the end. But yeah, that was still fun, and that's what Harley Quinn is supposed to be, fun. Like Deadpool, this is the Deadpool of the DC universe. I'm not even gonna compare them because they're two different things, and they both do good at at what they were born to do. So yeah, I thought this issue was great, and I gave this an 8.5 out of 10, and this is my number 5. My number 4 is The Wicked and the Divine, issue number 5. Yeah, this I wasn't supposed to pick up. I picked it up because of Becky Cloonan. Honestly, I did. Becky Cloonan's cover is amazing, and I was like, you know what? Let me just finish this whole storyline, and then I could just leave the Wicked and the Divine. So I have one storyline completed, which I'm fine with, but the ending for the storyline makes me want more, even though I don't want to get more because of I'm on a budget, and I don't want to waste so much in comics. But yeah, it makes me want more, and this one was actually a really good issue. But The Wicked and the Divine, for me, sometimes I enjoy it. It depends on what mood I'm on. So honestly, this was a really good issue. We see, everything that was kind of like hinting at last issue is kind of fun, all out brawl between Lucy and like the other gods, and the ending really, it's amazing, and it kind of sets up for the next storyline, which is gonna be crazy. If you're not reading this, I'd suggest you guys to get on board. I'm obviously getting off board, but if I had more money, I'll definitely pick this up. But yeah, guys, I suggest you guys to pick it up. The art is done by Jamie McKelvey, and you know him from like Young Avengers, Phonograph, I think that's what it's called, Phonograph, and like more. So honestly, it's a really good series, and I suggest you guys to pick it up. This is my last issue though, and I'm really sad about it, but it ended in a high note for me. So yeah, guys, next, my number 3 is Arkham Manor, issue number 1. In this issue, I have to say it was good. I honestly, I wasn't expecting a lot out of it. The girl in my comic shop was like, yeah, I suggest you to pick this one up. It's really good. I wasn't expecting a lot out of it. I was like, yeah, Arkham Manor, another bad title. But I think DC is trying to be innovative. This isn't like, oh yeah, this is a Batman title with a regular artist. This one is kind of going the indie route, and it has a cool plot twist at the end. But this one, like Deathstroke, it's kind of a sets up for what's coming in the whole run. Obviously you don't get the payoff if you haven't been reading Batman Eternal, because you don't know what happened to the Arkham Asylum and stuff like that. So you really need to get filled up first on that. And I think you need to pick up this this week's Batman Eternal, because I think that one leads to Arkham Manor. So yeah, but this suggests, the title suggests what's gonna happen, and the Wayne Manor becomes the new Arkham Asylum, and there's a cool plot twist at the end that makes you want more. And the art, in my opinion, was really good, and I think it does really good. It fits the tone of this whole series. I can feel the tone of the whole series, and I think the art fits it. So yeah, I gave this issue of Arkham Manor a 9 out of 10. I thought it was really good. I got the variant because it was incredible, but also this series has a lot of potential, and I might pick up issue number 2, depends. But yeah, really good series. Really good first issue, and it sets up a good vibe for the rest of the series. Next, my number 2 pick is Amazing Spider-Man issue number 8. This is my number 2, and you know what? I'm gonna say it was my number 2 because of the whole backstory. If it was just the whole first story and that was the ending, I would have probably given the my 6th pick of the week. My number 6, because it wasn't anything crazy, this whole story. What I did like though was that it kind of hints through some miniseries. One miniseries in particular that Dan Slott wrote recently, and it kind of it kind of shows a character from that miniseries. So I thought that was really interesting because it's not like they're forgetting that miniseries ever happened. So I like that concept. I also like the team up, and the team up is really fun. Nothing crazy happens, but what the reason that the team up happened was so they could interact, and how their interaction would be. So that's what I was looking for, and it was pretty fun. But the backstory was incredible. We have Mayday Parker and her family, and a bunch of crazy things happen, and I really can't spoil anything, but it's a crazy, kind of like last panel of Edge of Spider-Verse, because after this we're we're not even gonna go on Edge. It's just full on Spider-Verse, and that's gonna be amazing, and I'm excited for that. And even though this was a filler issue, if the whole little storyline of Mayday would have been like half the issue, this one would have probably been my pick of the week. But yeah, either way, I thought it was an enjoyable issue, and I gave it a 9.5 out of 10, almost my pick of the week. And my pick of the week this week is Catwoman, issue number 35. Honestly, I can't praise this comic any more than anyone. This comic took me by surprise. Anno Chetty, I think that's how you say her name. I'm not gonna judge her or anything. She honestly did her best. Anno Chetty is not the woman we used to know. Obviously, you can't judge her because of her recent runs. Honestly, I don't want to say she had a bad run, but it's universally negatively received. The whole Catwoman run. I mean, mostly negatively received. Her whole Catwoman run. People didn't like it. It really started weak because Jude Winnick was taking over the first few issues, and there was some really, delicate panels that were drawn like by Gillian March, like her, getting naked in front of the Waymaker, crazy stuff that didn't do Selena justice. It made her look. It didn't give her like. It didn't make her look like a strong female person. It just made her look like I'm gonna say it. I mean, a hoe, honestly. But then we had the whole Nonchetti run. I think she hit Selena at some points, but at other points it was just weird. Like Joker's daughter was a good a good character to introduce, even though she didn't use it well, or she didn't introduce us to that character well. It's still a memorable character that we're gonna get from her run, because Joker, anything with Joker is gold. So that's interesting. Something like interesting that came out from her run. But she also did a memorable run on Daredevil. So Anno Chetty, I give her props. She's taking over Clarion right now, and hopefully that series is good. So enough about Anno Chetty. We gotta get into this issue of Catwoman. This issue of Catwoman, like I said, it took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting anything out of this. I went to a comic shop. I wasn't even supposed to pick it up. The girl in my comic shop said, I asked her, is Catwoman 35 good? And she said, you know what, it was really good. And I was like, okay, you know what, I'm going to try it. And I did try it. It was the last one on my comic book shelf, on my, my comic book store, because my comic book store doesn't order a lot of Catwoman. People don't usually buy Catwoman, that's why. So they, got out of stock. So this issue of Catwoman was crazy, actually. Like, I keep praising it, and I'm not even telling you what happened. She is basically, it's after the events of Batman Eternal. This series catches up. We see Catwoman in a position she's never been before. Right now she may seem like a villain, but until you read this issue, you can't judge her actions. We have a great supporting cast that's really interesting. And we also have her, which she's really into, like, I don't know, I can't explain it. She's really very well described. I like her characteristics. Everything about Catwoman in this issue wanted me to this series to be bi-weekly, so I can have a series, the next issue in like 2 weeks. The art by Gary Brown. He did Iron Patriot. You guys know that, like, that whole miniseries. I'm gonna show you the art. The art fits the whole tone as well. This is definitely not the Catwoman that we used to know, and it works for her. A little spoiler alert, not really spoiler alert. She doesn't use the cowl at all in this issue. She doesn't use, the cat suit at all, and and it's still a good issue. And I'm like, yeah, she really doesn't need to use the cat suit in order to have a good issue. So I like how Valentine, she really did a good job writing her. There was some really good quotes, and we also see her enemy for this first story arc. It's gonna be a really good run on Catwoman. I'm excited I picked this up. I'm gonna put it in my pull list. It was a crazy good issue. And if you guys haven't picked, if you guys haven't read Catwoman, or are not reading Catwoman, because I don't think nobody is, but if you're not, I definitely suggest you guys should jump on this issue. It's really good. It's fun. It's kind of like a crime book, and that's it's kind of like Detective Comics, but Catwoman, and it's really fun. And I'm glad DC, gave Catwoman the spotlight, and I feel like this is gonna be a hit, and the reviews are looking great for this. So yeah, guys, definitely suggest you guys to pick this up. My pick of the week, and I'm praising this issue. Really good issue. So Catwoman issue number 35. Pick it up. So guys, thanks for watching. Hope you like this video. Also subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. And also, guys, you know, there's a contest and the link. I mean, I'm doing a contest slash giveaway, and the link is in the description box down below. So make sure you go check that out, and to write your comments down. Put comments. I want to hear your thoughts about these issues that I read, and especially Catwoman if you read Catwoman. But yeah, great stuff. So yeah, guys, once again, thanks for watching, and have a nice day, guys. Goodbye.